जङ्गमहिति प्रतिभासितं वै लोकत्रयमिदं पुण्यं लोकत्रयमिभूषणम् प्रातःकाले पठेभ्यस्तु सगे चेत् परमं पदम् ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसततं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं तन्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि।
शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर नमामि शंकर
साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब शिवा
सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब शिवा
साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब सदा शिव साम्ब शिवा
सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब शिवा
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय
शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय
Radiant immortal Atma. Centuries roll on, generations after generation appear, exist, pass away. Things, people, events become mere memories. everything changes. Just that great poem of Tennyson says, the old order changeth, yielding place to new. And therefore, sometimes arguments are reduced. What is the use of talking to us of ancient truths, of bygone ages? What relevance can they have to these changed times, when everything is totally different? This is simply an impractical way of trying to talk to people, share ideas. Impractical way that will bring no good. It will be of no use, useless. Such arguments. But the truth is, there are certain things that never change. Things may change. Forests may become cities. Cities may become forests. Populated areas may turn into desert waste. Deserts may spring into fertile fields. Borders of nations may change. Even due to man's over-interference, even the very elements, the climates, the weather, they may change. But there are certain things which never change. They are always the same. And therefore, things directly connected with these unchanging factors are always relevant, always meaningful. They are always used. They are never old-fashioned or outmoded or obsolete. There is no obsoletism here. Things which change would on scrutiny be found to be mostly the outer aspects of the world, environment, human life, appearances, the outer. And among things that never change are the inner factors that go to make up man, human nature of man, man's mind, man's behavior, man's appetites, man's passions, man's innermost urges, as they say, in inborn nature. Why? Because man continues to be man at all times. The dog will always wag its tail from the time of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel right up till now. And to posterity, even when your great-great-grandchildren come, if they throw a piece of lunch, cake or bread to a dog, it will wag its tail. And cat will continue to make its mewing noise. Birds will continue to lay their eggs. Eggs will hatch and bring forth fledglings. Grass will be green. If you sow a seed, it will sprout. Sky will be blue. Rivers will continue to flow. Sun will rise always from the east. And kind words will always make man feel well. Harsh words will make always man feel not good. This is not going to change. Hatred plus hatred will not become love. Hatred plus hatred will become more hatred. Double hatred. fulfillment of desire will never subside. The movement of desire. It will multiply, make it intensify. Renunciation of desire will ultimately make them subside and disappear, and peace will prevail. These things will not change. Anxiety, tension, pressure will continue to bring about gastric ulcer. Neglect of oral hygiene will bring about tooth decay. They have found the decayed teeth in thousands of years old mummies. And dental profession is one of the most lucrative of professions today. Never change. The inner physiology, biology and physiology of the human mechanism will continue to be the same. Composition of blood will not change. Fish circulation, anabolism, catabolism, metabolism will never change. Breathing will bring in oxygen, purify the blood. Breathing out will throw out toxins from the blood to the lungs. This will never change. In the same way, like and dislike, and that the enemies of man will be anger, passion, greed, hatred, ego, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद, मात्सर्य. It will never change. Tyagat Shantiranantaram, renunciation, there comes peace later on. This will never change. Therefore, when great prophets, messengers of God, saints, compassionate masters, saints, yogis, teachers, gurus, when they address themselves in this unchanging aspect of human life and nature and behavior, happiness and misery, law of karma, they are addressing themselves to something which will always prevail, and therefore these teachings always will be relevant, important, significant, necessary, indispensable for human happiness. This has to be pondered, well thought of. So there is no such thing called outmoded, superstitious, useless truth. Truth is always valid, invaluable. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thou shalt not this will always be right. They cannot become wrong. And the opposites cannot become right. Thou shalt kill, thou shalt steal, thou shalt utter falsehood. As long sun, moon shine, they cannot be right. They cannot become right because times have changed. Centuries might pass, millennia might pass. Even then, they are eternally valid, these truths. Patanjali's Yama and Niyama. As long as creation lasts, they are valid, they cannot change. Therefore, we must try to understand what changes and what does not change. And in the superficial, outward aspects of life, if change has taken place, so far as they are concerned, we may have to make a few adjustments here and there, taking due account of the changed times. We may not be able to exactly duplicate what our forefathers, ancestors did 2000 years ago, 3000 years ago. It may not fit in today. It's obvious. The type of apparel people wear in Southern California and Florida, where people run away to escape from the 10 feet of snow in Montreal and further north, or in Alaska. Okay. That mode of dressing, you cannot say, I will keep this and yet want to journey to Alaska. You have to change your dress. You have to put on heavy woolen material if you travel north, even in summer, for example, if you go to Alaska, Eskimo land. When we are perfectly willing to adjust ourselves, therefore similar adjustments may become necessary in the spiritual field also. So it is natural, one can understand. So one need not be foolish. They have known what our ancestors did 5,000 years ago. I will stick to it. Gurudev used to say, this is foolishness. And they don't constitute the very essence of yoga or Vedanta or spiritual life if a little bit of adjustment is made on the outer, passing. It is non-essential. See? Sky is not going to fall. See? During the wanderings of Swami Vivekananda, I was wandering monk in those days. He was up country in the north, somewhere in Assam, quite cold it can become. Especially it was hill territory like Darjeeling, etc. He was given the hospitality by a very pious couple when they came to know that a wandering monk has arrived in town. They requested him to come and be their guest. He was staying with them for a few days. They were devout people. They were also practicing little sadhana, prayer, early morning prayer, meditation. And Vivekananda spent several days, maybe a week or 10 days, and as days passed, they became more familiar, and they used to sit together sometime in the evening. They had questions to ask, doubts to clear, and wanted enlightenment. Vivekananda freely gave, because he was a free monk at that time. He was master of his own time. And then one day, the man asked, Swami, I am bothered by a little minor thing, but it does bother me. I would like to have Swami's opinion about it. What is it? See, I have long had the habit of taking a cup of tea in the morning. And even now, I get up very early in the morning, I take a bath, get ready for meditation. But I have to take a cup of tea before I sit for meditation, otherwise I feel drowsy. So when I have taken my first cup of tea, then I feel all right, alert, and so I go on. But sometimes I feel bothered that I should be say of this habit, and which really affect the quality of my sadhana, the spiritual life. I am much bothered about it. Vivekananda looked at him. Hey, go on. Take your cup of tea and meditate. What does it matter? I would care very little for a religion and spirituality that could be drowned in a cup of tea. If a simple cup of tea were to drown and nullify your religion and spirituality, that type of spirituality, I have very little value. What do you meditate? So he said, don't worry about these minor trifles. God is looking at your meditation, your devotion. He is not looking at a half cup of tea put into your, what does he care for it? He will not hold that against you and say all your yoga is cancelled because you have taken a cup of tea. He said, let not this thought bother you. Just forget it. carry on. Have a cup of tea, if it helps you, well and good. This wise, he just brushed his head because it was an outer thing, a little. And if you went deep meditation, one day the tea will drop off by itself. He doesn't even have to think about doing anything about it. And it's a minor. It has no ethical implications, moral implications. In that way, the point I want to put across is 100% you can recreate the same condition, same state of spirituality, same lofty, sublime, grand state of spirituality, which your ancestors 10,000 years ago cultivated and became blessed at its illumination. Even today, in the midst of the last decade of the 20th century, in New York, in Paris, in London, in Berlin, wherever you want, you can recreate it and live it. What is it? Your inner state. After all, yoga is what your inner state is, not what your outer surroundings, what color of cloth you put on, see, what type of shirt you are wearing, what shoes you wear. This is not what is going to constitute your spiritual being, spiritual state. What does your mind think? What does your heart harbor? What is your vision of yourself and your view of your life? With what attitude do you approach life? What does it constitute to you personally, in your own subjective inwardness? These are things that make the spirituality or the absence of it real. This inner kingdom of yours is your own territory. No one has anything, any authority. No one can say anything. No one can dictate anything there. It is your own territory. You are, totally in charge, and you can do with it what you wish to do with it. You can be in it what you want to be in it. See? If you allow yourself to be affected by anything outer, that is your problem, that is your lookout. But nothing outside of you has any power or any say in the matter of how you keep yourself inside. See? What state you keep your mind, what level you keep it. See? What is the state of your heart? It is your kingdom. You are the master. As Saint Francis thought and felt, you can also think and feel. As ancient sages like Valmiki, Vasishtha thought and felt and meditated, contemplated, you can also do. Who is to say anything about it? Who can prevent? Who can say either this way or that way? You are totally in charge. You rule your inner kingdom. And ultimately you will know that your inner kingdom rules your outer kingdom, so far as you are concerned. So far as you are concerned. To be the master of outer circumstances, you are to be master of yourself, your inner state. And out of this you can rule outer circumstances, even though they continue to be the same. It's not necessary to rule outer circumstances. You should be able to change them or alter them, not necessary at all. Because it is not the shape or the outer appearance of the shape of outer circumstances and things that constitutes their essence. It is how you react to them, how you allow them to affect you or not to affect you, that constitutes for you the outer circumstances. Okay? The structure or the shape of outer circumstances may be the same. But if there are 10 people in a particular situation, see, it will not be the same to all the 10. 9 people may become distracted and desperate and collapse, but one person may keep the cool. Circumstances will be identical, 100%. So, it is what you have made of yourself within that decides what any set of outer circumstances at any given time in life are going to be to you. Your inner decides your outer in this way. That is the importance that Krishna's description of Chitta Prajna in the second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita wisdom teachings, that is the importance he tried to bring out. He goes through life in a certain way. Why? Because he has already made his inner state in a certain way. So he is able to go through life, the same occurrences, same events, same circumstances, the same impacts, okay, which he shares with all others. Okay, but he goes through it in his own majestic way. Not because his circumstances are different or special, the same as all. But he has made himself different. Therefore, teachings relating to the inner being of the human individual are of eternal validity. They don't become invalid, they don't become irrelevant at any time. Because this is that which never changes, it is the same. Today, at the peak of the 20th century, we can still gain and benefit ourselves immensely from teachings given maybe 2000 years ago or 5000 years ago or even 10,000 years ago. Okay? And they can help you to master life and make a success of life, a triumphant, a victorious life. They can help you to make. Because they are fully valid. And they will give results. As they gave results 10,000 years ago, they will give the same results today also. Because they relate to things that are eternally the same, they don't change. The changeless amidst the unchanged. Many years ago, Swami Ranganathananda, a series of his lectures were compiled together and brought out in the book form. And he gave it the happy title, Eternal Values in a Changing Society. Okay? The society may change, conditions may change, people may change, things may change, but there are certain values that are always of the same importance, eternal values in changing society. So it is the way in which you make and keep your inner being. That is the essence. That is the essence of the matter. That is the most important and crucial of all factors. This is the sharing today. And this would be, because I wanted to share some ancient old teachings. Then I said, first of all, let us consider their the place. Do they have a place today? Or they no more have any relevance or a place today? Let us consider first that idea. Then afterwards, let us take it up. A set of This came to my mind today because I was telling that in the early days of his own very austere, intense spiritual sadhana struggle, the teachings that Gurudev gave breathed fire, and they were enough to frighten away anyone. He gave the teachings in the same spirit in which he was at that time experiencing himself. Okay? And later on, when his whole position in society changed, he became the teacher and the guide friend and philosopher of a vast number of people, many of them who were not full-time aspirants or renunciates or monks. They were very much with the world, in the world, had to live in and through the... So he modified teachings and made them suit all types of people, not because he moved away from his ground. He was the same person so far as sadhaks were concerned, renunciates were concerned. He did not give them the diluted dose to them. He gave them the same strong shot, but to others he gave very mild teachings. Otherwise it was not possible for them to incorporate it into their lives and apply it. Therefore he gave it in that form, suitable to them. And therefore I was minded, and I said, Thomas Kempe wrote only for monks. Buddha preached only to bhikkhus. But then, we not being monks or not being bhikkhus does not mean that those teachings are totally of no meaning or totally useless to us. See? Our outer circumstances may not be monastic. But nevertheless, we can take those teachings and color our inside. And this is going to pay dividends. It's not going to be useless. It will bring about an internal change. It is not going to affect the change times and circumstances in which you are living today. It is not going to affect. But you are going to become something else. You are going to relate yourself to the outer in a new way because of the change you have been able to bring about in yourself by imbibing these ancient truths and teachings. You become a new person. So you are in a position to deal with these changed circumstances in a better way, in a different way, which is not given to the less fortunate ones. Therefore, an inner change, Gurudev used to say, Hoyi, color your heart, color your mind. He used to say, if you cannot color it, doesn't matter. That's not the real thing. Color your heart. Live like a lotus in water. You may have to be in the midst of water, but be like a lotus, unaffected. Water cannot rot the lotus. In this way he used to say, change there. Bring about a change there. So we shall take it up. This is the little thought I put into your mind to ponder and know its full implications. Try to understand what it should mean to you in terms or in connection with teachings. Precious, invaluable ancient teachings are not as though they are no more. Gold is as valuable as it was in the time of King Solomon or someone, or diamond and pearls. They were valuable in most ancient times, they are valuable today also. If an outer thing, a small thing, can keep its value, retain its value and validity over thousands of years, what about spiritual gems and inner treasures? Why should they lose value? On the contrary, if you allow me to say so, in this light of these changed things, they are now becoming more valuable, more necessary, more important, even more. You don't have to go about with an armor in normal times. But when you are passing through terrible times, armor is much more necessary. Therefore, all dictators drive about in bulletproof cars and have a bulletproof vest and all that. But it has become more necessary because times have become horrible. In the same way, these troops might have not been so very important in those days, Now they are more, tenfold, 100-fold more important today. Yeah. Due to the state of the world in which we are living. Times we have to pass through, situations we have to face. So, that is the thought I want you to consider today. And go now, because baby is leaving you. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
We remember Marcus Winkle and wish him early recovery. Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarvamya Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarvamya Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarvamya Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarvamya Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarvamya Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Hari Om. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Sarvesham swasti bhavatu, sarvesham shanti bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkhabhat bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityoma mritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace unto all beings in this universe. Peace be unto all. Good morning. I don't have to say, have a nice day. The day itself is saying, hello, I'm a nice day today. Come and have it. So, it's proclaiming it, goodness, full goodness, bright sunshine. Very bright. And as we were saying, no matter how the outer day is, we can always have a good day inside. We can always have sunshine inside, always have brightness inside. Oh, beautiful. God is beautiful. What are those little things? Yeah, it's a type of reed.
Yes.
They are like the end part of a firework. When they go up, you know?
Yes.
That's scary.